the senior traveler approaches the immigration booth, heart pounding, palms sweating. Behind that glass partition sits an officer trained to spot deception in seconds. What happens next determines whether this person walks free into their destination country or gets pulled into the dreaded secondary screening room that can destroy an entire vacation. Every year, thousands of innocent travelers face detention, questioning, or entry denial, not because they're criminals, but because they unknowingly triggered red flags that immigration officers are specifically trained to identify. Social media travel influencers won't share these secrets because they don't know them. In this video, viewers will discover 7 insider techniques that seasoned international travelers use to glide through immigration checkpoints like diplomatic personnel. These aren't the generic tips found on travel blogs. These are the real strategies that immigration training manuals teach officers to watch for, and how smart travelers can use that knowledge to their advantage. Tip 1. The 2025 Real ID and Biometric Preparation Secret. Here's what no travel blogger mentions about the massive changes happening right now. As of May 7, 2025, Real ID compliance became effectively mandatory for all U.S. airport security. Travelers without Real ID compliant licenses or passports now face a new $45 fee starting February 1st, 2026 for alternative identity verification at checkpoints. But the real secret lies in understanding how the new biometric systems work. The U.S. Simplified Arrival Program now photographs every international passenger and cross-references their image against previous immigration photos in government databases. The European Union's entry-exit system, launched in October 2024, creates biometric records for every non-EU traveler entering Schengen countries. Smart travelers know this means preparation starts before landing. They disable Face ID, fingerprint unlocking, and all biometric features on their phones before the plane touches down. Why? Because Customs and Border Protection can conduct basic searches of electronic devices without warrants or individualized suspicion under the Border Search Doctrine. The insider move experienced international travelers use. They switch their phones to PIN-only access during descent and keep devices powered off until completely through customs. This simple step prevents involuntary device access during inspection. They also clear their recent app usage, close all browser tabs, and log out of social media accounts before landing. Professional travelers understand that immigration officers are trained to observe micro-expressions and body language during biometric scanning. They maintain neutral facial expressions, avoid excessive blinking, and keep their eyes focused directly on the camera. Nervous fidgeting during biometric capture can trigger additional scrutiny that can add hours to the immigration process. The advanced technique involves understanding how these systems actually work. Facial recognition software analyzes dozens of facial measurement points, comparing them against watch lists and previous entry records. Travelers who have significantly changed their appearance since their last visit, new glasses, facial hair, weight changes, should be prepared to answer questions about these differences without appearing defensive. Immigration databases now store biometric data for up to 15 years in most developed countries. This means that any previous immigration violations, overstays, or suspicious behavior can be instantly accessed when a traveler's biometrics are scanned. Smart travelers research their own immigration history before traveling, ensuring they can explain any past issues if questioned. Tip 2. The document sandwich system that immigration officers recognize. Most travelers stuff their passport in a back pocket and fumble when asked for documents. Immigration officers interpret this disorganization as uncertainty about one's own travel story, an immediate red flag. Professional border crossers understand that document presentation is a performance that begins the moment they approach the immigration booth. Professional travelers use what border security experts call the document sandwich method. Passport on top, boarding pass second, visa or entry permits third, return ticket confirmation fourth, travel insurance documentation fifth, and accommodation confirmations sixth. Everything organized in a clear folder, accessible within 3 seconds. The psychology behind this system runs deeper than mere organization. Immigration officers are trained to assess travelers within the first 30 seconds of interaction, Research shows that fumbling for documents suggests poor planning, which correlates with higher rates of visa violations in immigration statistics. Smooth document presentation signals competence and preparation that officers associate with legitimate travelers. The advanced technique involves creating multiple document sets. Primary documents stay in an easily accessible chest pocket or document holder. Backup copies remain in carry-on luggage, and digital copies are stored on the phone with offline access. This redundancy demonstrates thorough preparation that immigration officers associate with legitimate business travelers and experienced tourists. Experienced travelers also understand document timing. They have their passport ready before reaching the booth, but don't wave it around anxiously. They maintain calm body language while keeping documents easily accessible. When requested, they present documents smoothly without hesitation or nervous commentary that can raise suspicions. The folder system extends beyond basic travel documents. Smart travelers include business cards if traveling for work, university enrollment letters if studying abroad, medical prescriptions for any medications they're carrying, and even printed copies of hotel confirmations and tour bookings. This comprehensive approach answers questions before they're asked, reducing interrogation time. Document quality matters more than most travelers realize. Worn, damaged, or altered-looking documents trigger additional scrutiny. Professional travelers ensure their passports are in excellent condition, with clear photos and readable information. They replace passports well before expiration dates to avoid questions about urgent travel needs that might suggest suspicious circumstances. Tip 3. The brief response formula that stops follow-up questions. Immigration officers ask questions not just for information, but to observe reactions under pressure. Nervous rambling, over-explanation, and uncertain responses trigger deeper investigation. The questioning process is designed to reveal inconsistencies in travel stories and identify potential security risks through verbal and nonverbal cues. Seasoned travelers follow the brief formula: be relevant, immediate, exact, and final. When asked about trip purpose, they don't say, "Well, I'm here for vacation, just to see some sights and maybe visit a friend if I have time." Instead, they respond, "Vacation for 10 days." This response provides necessary information without opening conversational doors that lead to extended questioning. The psychology behind effective immigration responses involves understanding officer training. Immigration personnel learn to identify deception through verbal and nonverbal cues. Excessive detail suggests rehearsed stories that might be fabricated. Vague responses indicate uncertainty about one's own plans. The sweet spot involves confident, specific answers that address the question completely without elaboration. Professional travelers practice their responses before traveling. They rehearse answers to common questions: trip purpose, duration, accommodation, employment, previous visits, and financial resources. This preparation isn't about creating false stories. It's about delivering truthful information confidently and concisely, without appearing nervous or uncertain. The advanced technique involves understanding question sequences. Immigration officers often ask related questions to test consistency. A traveler who says they're visiting for business might be asked about their company, meeting locations, and return work schedule. Prepared travelers ensure their answers align across all potential questions without contradictions. Body language during questioning matters as much as verbal responses. Experienced travelers maintain steady eye contact without staring, keep their hands visible and relaxed, and avoid defensive postures like crossed arms or fidgeting. They understand that immigration officers are trained to read physical cues as indicators of truthfulness or deception. Voice tone and pace also influence officer perceptions. Nervous travelers often speak too quickly or too quietly, which can be interpreted as signs of dishonesty. Professional travelers maintain normal conversational pace and volume, projecting confidence without appearing aggressive or dismissive. They treat immigration officers with professional respect while maintaining personal dignity. Tip 4. The digital footprint cleanup that prevents detention. This revelation shocks most travelers. Customs and Border Protection can legally examine phones and social media during inspection without warrants. Under the border search doctrine, The Fourth Amendment's usual warrant and probable cause requirements are greatly reduced at borders and international airports. Officers specifically look for contradictions between stated travel purposes and digital evidence. CBP distinguishes between basic and advanced searches. Basic searches involve manual review of content stored on devices, scrolling through photos, messages, documents, and can be done for any reason or none. Advanced searches, which connect devices to external tools for forensic analysis, generally require reasonable suspicion of law violations under CBP policy. Red flags include job search apps when entering as a tourist, dating app conversations suggesting romantic meetings when claiming solo travel, or social media posts contradicting official travel plans. Immigration attorneys report cases where travelers were denied entry because their Instagram stories didn't match their visa applications or stated purposes. The solution involves comprehensive digital preparation. Experienced travelers perform digital cleanup before international trips. They temporarily hide or remove content that doesn't align with their official travel narrative. This isn't deception. It's avoiding unnecessary complications that can derail entire vacations and result in deportation. The cleanup process begins weeks before travel. Smart travelers review their social media posts, email communications, and app usage patterns. They remove or hide posts that might contradict their travel story, clear browser histories of job searches or immigration-related research, and log out of dating apps if traveling as tourists. Professional travelers understand that digital searches extend beyond obvious social media platforms. Officers can examine text messages, email accounts, photo galleries, and even app usage statistics. A tourist whose phone shows extensive use of work-related apps might face questions about business activities. Someone claiming to travel alone, whose messages reveal romantic communications, might be suspected of immigration fraud. The advanced strategy involves creating travel-specific digital profiles. Some experienced travelers use separate phones or accounts for international travel, containing only information relevant to their stated trip purpose. Others use privacy settings to limit what information is immediately visible during device searches. Cloud storage and automatic syncing create additional complications. Even deleted content might be recoverable through cloud backups or automatic synchronization. Smart travelers disable automatic cloud syncing before travel and ensure that deleted content is permanently removed from all connected accounts and devices. Digital evidence can also support legitimate travel stories. Travelers visiting family might keep family photos and communications visible. Business travelers might maintain work-related emails and calendar appointments. The key is ensuring digital evidence supports rather than contradicts the stated travel purpose without creating inconsistencies. Tip 5. The financial sweet spot strategy that avoids money laundering flags. When immigration officers ask about money, they're really asking, can this person afford their stated trip without working illegally? Too little money suggests potential illegal employment. Too much cash without proper declaration triggers money laundering investigations that can result in asset forfeiture and criminal charges. Professional travelers research the financial requirements for their destination country and carry evidence of financial stability without excessive cash. They bring bank statements, credit cards, and modest cash amounts that demonstrate legitimate funding sources. The goal is proving financial capability without raising money, laundering suspicions, or currency reporting requirements. Immigration databases now track spending patterns across multiple visits. Travelers who show consistent financial behavior across trips face fewer questions than those with unexplained financial changes. Someone who previously traveled on a budget but suddenly shows expensive accommodations might face questions about income sources and potential illegal activities. The financial sweet spot varies by destination and trip length. For U.S. tourism, immigration experts suggest demonstrating access to $50 to $100 per day of planned stay, plus return transportation costs. European destinations often expect similar amounts, adjusted for local cost of living and accommodation expenses. Smart travelers carry diverse financial evidence, bank statements showing regular income deposits, credit cards with reasonable limits, and travel insurance documentation all support financial stability claims. They avoid carrying large amounts of cash, which can trigger currency reporting requirements and money laundering investigations that involve asset seizure. The advanced strategy involves understanding currency declaration requirements. Most countries require declaring cash amounts over $10,000 or equivalent. Professional travelers stay well below these thresholds while carrying enough to demonstrate financial capability. They also research their destination's currency exchange regulations and banking access for tourists. Credit card usage patterns can support or undermine travel stories. A tourist whose credit cards show business-related purchases might face questions about work activities. Someone claiming to visit family whose spending patterns suggest hotel stays might be questioned about accommodation claims and relationship authenticity. Financial documentation should match stated travel purposes. Business travelers might carry corporate credit cards and expense account information. Students might show scholarship documentation or parental support letters. Retirees might carry pension statements or retirement account information that explains their funding sources. Tip 6. The accommodation verification trap that catches experienced travelers. When officers ask about accommodations, they're cross-referencing answers against hotel booking databases, Airbnb reservations, and address verification systems in real time. Immigration systems now have instant access to major booking platforms and can verify accommodation claims immediately. The trap: claiming to stay with friends without immediately available contact information. Immigration officers can and do call to verify accommodations during the interview process. If the friend doesn't answer or stories don't match, the traveler heads to secondary screening that can last hours. Smart travelers carry complete contact information written separately from their phone: hotel names and addresses, friends' full names and phone numbers, or Airbnb confirmation numbers. The professional approach involves comprehensive accommodation documentation. They have this information memorized and written down, accessible even if their phone battery dies during the long immigration process. They also carry backup accommodation options in case primary plans change or fall through. Accommodation verification extends beyond basic contact information. Officers might ask about relationship details with private hosts, length of friendships, or how accommodations were arranged. Travelers staying with friends should be prepared to explain how they met, when they last communicated, and specific details about their host's living situation and immigration status. Hotel and Airbnb bookings create digital trails that immigration officers can verify instantly through integrated systems. Smart travelers ensure their booking confirmations match their stated travel dates and purposes exactly. They also research their accommodation's reputation and location to answer potential questions about their choice and local area knowledge. The advanced strategy involves understanding accommodation red flags that trigger additional scrutiny. Certain types of accommodations raise suspicions. Budget hostels in expensive cities might suggest financial inconsistencies. Luxury accommodations for claimed budget travelers might indicate undisclosed income sources. Accommodations in areas known for illegal employment might trigger work-related questions. Private accommodation arrangements require special preparation. Travelers staying with friends or family should have detailed contact information, including backup contacts if primary hosts are unavailable. They should understand their host's immigration status, employment situation, and living arrangements to answer potential questions about the relationship. Accommodation changes during travel can create complications with immigration authorities. Travelers who change hotels or extend stays should update their information with immigration authorities if required. Some countries require accommodation registration within specific timeframes, and failure to comply can result in fines or deportation proceedings. Tip 7. The compelling return evidence that proves you won't overstay. Immigration officers' primary concern is visa overstays, which represent the largest category of immigration violations. A return ticket isn't enough. Travelers need what immigration experts call compelling reasons to return. This means demonstrating strong ties to their home country that prove they won't disappear into the destination country's population. Experienced travelers carry evidence of these ties: employer letters stating return dates, property ownership documents, family obligations, or ongoing commitments. Some even carry photos of pets they need to return to, seemingly silly details that can differentiate between smooth entry and hours of questioning and secondary screening. The strategy involves presenting this evidence proactively, demonstrating transparency and planning that immigration officers associate with legitimate temporary visitors. Professional travelers understand that immigration decisions often depend on the officer's assessment of overstay risk based on statistical profiles and individual circumstances. Compelling return evidence varies by traveler profile and statistical risk factors. Employed individuals might carry employment contracts, salary statements, or supervisor letters confirming expected return dates and job security. Business owners might show incorporation documents, tax returns, or client contracts requiring their presence. Family ties provide strong return incentives that immigration officers recognize. Travelers might carry photos of spouses, children, or elderly parents requiring care. Marriage certificates, birth certificates, or medical documentation can support family obligation claims. Even pet ownership documentation can demonstrate home country connections and responsibilities. Property ownership creates powerful return incentives that are difficult to abandon. Mortgage statements, property tax bills, or rental agreements show financial obligations requiring return. Business ownership, investment accounts, or ongoing legal proceedings also demonstrate compelling reasons to return home rather than overstay. Educational commitments provide return evidence for students and professionals. University enrollment letters, course schedules, or professional certification programs show future obligations. Research projects, thesis deadlines, or academic conferences can support temporary travel claims and demonstrate planned return dates. The advanced approach involves understanding cultural and economic factors that influence immigration decisions. Officers consider home country economic conditions, political stability, and cultural ties when assessing overstay risk. Travelers from countries with strong economies and stable governments face less scrutiny than those from economically challenged regions. Professional travelers also prepare for questions about previous travel patterns and compliance history. Frequent travelers with consistent return histories face fewer questions than first-time international travelers. They maintain records of previous trips, including entry and exit stamps, to demonstrate reliable travel behavior and compliance with immigration laws. Conclusion: these 7 strategies transform immigration experiences from stressful interrogations to smooth passages for travelers of all ages, but especially seniors who face additional scrutiny due to statistical patterns. They represent the same techniques used by diplomatic personnel, business executives, and frequent international travelers who navigate borders with confidence and efficiency. Immigration officers aren't adversaries. They are professionals doing important security work to protect their countries. When travelers make their job easier through preparation, organization, and confidence, officers are more likely to process them quickly and efficiently. Understanding their perspective and training helps travelers present themselves as low-risk, legitimate visitors. The difference between travelers who face detention and those who glide through checkpoints isn't luck. It's preparation based on understanding how the system actually works. These strategies provide the same preparation advantages that professional travelers have used for decades. They represent insider knowledge that can prevent vacation disasters and travel nightmares. Implementation requires practice and preparation well before departure. Travelers should rehearse their responses, organize their documents, and research their destination's specific requirements weeks before travel. Last-minute preparation often appears suspicious to trained immigration officers who are taught to recognize signs of hasty planning. For viewers who found this information valuable, subscribing to Avoid Flight Bans ensures access to insider travel information that can save vacations before they start. The channel provides real immigration and travel secrets based on actual immigration training materials and officer interviews, not the superficial advice found on social media platforms. Next week's video reveals what actually happens during secondary screening and the process most travelers fear but few understand. That information could prove invaluable for anyone planning international travel, especially seniors who statistically face higher rates of additional screening due to medication, medical devices, and longer questioning periods. Safe travels, and remember, confidence combined with preparation creates the smoothest immigration experience possible. These techniques work because they address the real concerns and training that immigration officers receive, giving travelers the same advantages that diplomatic and business professionals use every day.